Welcome, Internet. This is the August 11th, 2015 IPython Jupyter dev meeting. Let's get started. Who's on first?
Yes.
So I just worked a bit on real-time, trying to match code mirror events with Google Drive events, which are slightly different, which still give me headache. And I also worked on old notebook, current notebook, to have a command palette which is similar to Atom, Sublime. It works well, except showing a keyboard shortcut. I need to clean that up, and I hope to have it finished by tomorrow or Thursday.
Great.
John?
Yep. So I released Jupyter.js output area last week. So if you guys could give that a try, give me some feedback with the API and also how it actually runs, that would be awesome. Today I've been experimenting with using NPM packaging in the notebook and Browserify just to see what that actually looks like and if that's a path we should try.
And where are you doing that? You mean like with the JavaScript we have in the current notebook repo, or in?
Yeah, just I haven't opened a PR yet. I just started doing that. I just wanted to see if it would simplify things, especially for when I try my next experiment, which is to use the new output area inside the current notebook.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, alternatively, I could, and this is also maybe this is the better thing to do instead of experimenting with NPM, is to make that a Bower package too, and just I might have to do that regardless. But I thought, like, while I was looking at it, that NPM could simplify things, especially if we don't minify and do all that complex stuff.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. Sounds good.
Yeah. And then I'm also going to be working on Jupyter.js input area now with Simon, Kyle, and Matthias. And as Matthias mentioned, the command palette, I've kind of been poking around with that too, just keeping an eye on it, giving feedback.
Simon, I've been poking on that too also. We need to clean that up, and we can sync the three of us.
And this week, the guys at Cal Poly can tell you, I think it's tomorrow actually, we get the furniture for the Cal Poly Jupyter space. So I'm going up Thursday and Friday to Cal Poly.
Cool.
That's it
great.
for me.
Hey Brian, I've been muting you because your phone is generating a huge amount of wind noise, unfortunately. But I realized that if I mute you, you have no way of saying that you need to be unmuted, unfortunately. So I'm not.
Leave me muted until it's my turn to give an update. That's fine. It's better to just leave me muted, because every time you mute and unmute me, the operator lady says something really long that makes it so it's hard to hear what people are saying.
Okay, sorry about that then. Then I will leave you muted for now, because otherwise it's generating a lot of wind noise.
Brian can mute himself.
Can you mute yourself?
Let me see. I probably can.
All right.
Okay, that might be better, because it's just generating a lot of wind noise.
All right, I'll go.
Tell me if it helps.
Yeah.
Yes, it's much better. Thank you. And that way we're not muting you forcefully. Thank you.
Yeah, I've spent most of last week packing my stuff, so I haven't done a whole lot, but I've also been helping Thomas with the 4.0 stuff, which has been reviewing some docs, which Sean's also helped with. And I'm hoping we can ship 4.0 final of the last pieces today, I think. It's just a few more looks over the docs and stuff, and then we can start moving forward. And then I also have been working with MathJax for a bit to create a Bower component for MathJax. So there's a components org on GitHub that has either slimmed down or pre-built versions of a lot of JavaScript packages so that they're lighter to install with Bower rather than going straight from the main repo. And MathJax is one of the... MathJax is a significant fraction of the install time when you're installing IPython when you're installing a notebook from master, is just getting MathJax with Bower, and the primary source of that is just all the PNG image fonts that are needed for browsers we don't support. So I talked to the MathJax folks, and now there is a Bower component on the components repo that is MathJax minus the PNG fonts, which shrinks the download size by 1/3, the file count by like 70%, and the install time by 80%. So MathJax is slightly less of a pain to install as a Bower component now.
By install time, you mean the required JS compacting everything in one file?
No, I mean literally just downloading MathJax and unzipping it. It takes a really long time just because of the sheer number of files, right? Because it's a font per glyph, and it's not even, I don't think it's the disk space, it's actually the file count. So it depends significantly on your disk performance, and on a lot of slow things. Creating all those files can take a while. Plus a lot of the build tools that kind of stat the whole file tree were made very slow by the presence of those PNG fonts, because they would just walk the file tree, and the MathJax PNG fonts were like 50% of the total files in the notebook source repo.
Wow.
So just a slightly related thing, we have in the XKCD repo, we posted a file where Randall actually did some math symbols. So if someone is motivated to make a font out of that so that we can have actually XKCD math, would be great.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yep. Will?
I had to unmute myself. So this week I've been working on the Python implementation of the new completion spec and using that work to revise what the completion spec looks like. So that's mostly done now, and I'm going to update the existing issue with the new spec within the next probably day, and then I will actually send a pull request for the Python changes, so that people can look at those and see what they think, and see like if there are other things that need to get changed in that spec or anything like that.
Great.
Will, quick question. Is this going to modify the message spec itself in a backwards incompatible way?
So there's been some discussion of that. It probably won't be backwards incompatible. I think that probably the best way to do this is going to be using a key inside the existing metadata field, or just adding a new field completely. And so it'll be a dot release and not a major version.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Steve? Going left to right now?
Is Steve?
Someone
Steve
I'm here.
Steve Sylvester?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. I have been trying to brush up the REST API. Did some more work on the Swagger docs last week, and now I broke out kernel.ts into the. I have a pull request against my own repo of the Jupyter.js services, and I've been starting the test suite using Mocha. I've got about half of the API of the kernel class done, so I'm just pushing my way through that now.
Great.
Do you want to push that repo up to the Jupyter organization? You said it's under you right now?
Yeah, well, I have a catch-all, implement initial stuff PR. Yeah, I can make that a PR against the master branch now.
Well, I don't think there is a Jupyter.js services repo. We'd have to create
There is
it,
a
I think.
repo.
Yes, there is.
Min created it. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and make
okay.
that PR so Jason and Min can snoop in on that.
Great.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Cal Poly?
All right, so for this past week, I have been finishing up the website. I published it to GitHub Pages, and so I'm pretty much just waiting for John to come down to Cal Poly for the finishing touches, figure out some HTML and CSS problems I'm having. If anyone could help me with that, just send me a message in Gitter or over GitHub, and I'm on like the last few features. It's mainly with like JavaScript and jQuery that I don't know how to use, so you can check out what I have on the GitHub pages.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Feel free to call me or message me online.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Tomorrow.
Which repo? Or is it a PR on design?
Yeah, it's on the Jupyter website revamp. It should be the newest post from me. You'll see in there it's a link to a GitHub page. But I'll put it into the meeting notes for today as well. And then.
Yeah, so I've been working this past week, I guess, with Matthias and John on whatever, blanking on the name, but the little thing from the top that's.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Come close to the microphone.
Yeah, I've been working with Matthias and John on the, what is it called? The
Command palette?
Blanking on the name.
Command palette?
Yeah, command palette. Yeah, and other than that, I've been continuing to work on the spreadsheet. I almost have gotten rid of the phosphor components used incorrectly that I had, as well as updated the architecture, but almost there. And yeah, that's what I've been doing.
O'Brien?
Next then. So I've continued to work on the IPython parallel on Yarn, making some good progress on that. I'm also going to start looking into packaging PySpark for PyPy. It looks like we've gotten some amount of go-ahead from the PySpark developers to go ahead and do that. And that's just going to make using PySpark a lot easier. Also, I've been looking into some of the issues that people have been having with the RSpark in the Jupyter console. I think I found the root of that problem. I'm going to look into fixing that.
Thanks for I saw that thread on the list. Thanks for jumping on that one. It was kind of weird. Is the answer short as to why that's happening on the console and not on the notebook and not on the console?
So the problem is that the way that the R kernel handles its heartbeat is currently really poor. It's single-threaded, and so if there's something that takes too long, it won't be heartbeating back. So if you just do like assist.sleep, it'll kill the kernel, essentially, or it'll think that the kernel's dead. I'm looking into kind of the different timeout policies between the console and the notebook. It just seems like the console has some stricter timeout policies. So the R kernel developers are aware of their heartbeat problems and they're working on that. And maybe we want to look into making more consistent timeout policies between the console and the notebook, just deciding which one we prefer and kind of standardizing upon that one.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Glad to know you tracked that one down. That was kind of weird. Thank you. Good job.
All right, continuing on. I see Chris. I'm just going left to right on my screen. So, Chris.
Okay. Yeah, so my last week was continuing on the work that I've been doing to refactor phosphor. So by the end of last week, I was convinced that the refactoring work that I was doing was going to bear fruit and it was worthy endeavor. So I've continued on down that road, and things are now on the upstroke on that. So climbing out of that hole that I dug myself, but we're going to be much better off for it. So that's pretty much what I've been working on. And to recap, this refactoring will allow Phosphor to, instead of just being a paneling layout system that does everything absolutely, it will also allow other child widgets to be laid out entirely with CSS layout algorithms, and have all of the resize events, the attach detach notification, show hide notification, all of that will still propagate through the parent-child hierarchy correctly. Despite the fact when it crosses the bounds from absolute layout to CSS layout. So this is actually going to open the door to allow us to have a lot more leaf level content implemented as Phosphor widgets and have less of a reliance to use some external tools just because Phosphor doesn't support leaf level content. So these changes were made based on early feedback that some people that were adopting Phosphor both in the Jupyter org and internally at Continuum had given me. So now seemed to be the time to do that. And so there we go.
Great. I see Fernando next on the list.
Sure. Also kind of a different kind of refactoring that I will hopefully have some news to report in a couple of weeks, mostly behind the scenes, not quite ready to report publicly yet, but hopefully good news in a few weeks. I've also been looking at the thread we've had on the mailing list, and I just wanted to mention here that obviously, as everyone can see, there's kind of a split there, and I'll wrap up that with a decision in the next day or two as soon as I can flush a couple things on my plate. But it's probably at the point where that thread is not worth adding a lot more, in the sense that it's probably at the point where it needs a bit of a decision, and I'm happy. It's probably at the point where I need to weigh in, and I'm looking through the entire thread, and I think I have a bunch of elements, and I'll try in the next couple of days to gather all the information and hopefully make a decision that will make some people unhappy, given that we seem to have a perfect split of the community on both sides, but we need to move forward, and so I just wanted to mention that I am actively looking through all of that. So I'm not ignoring it just because I've been quiet on the thread.
Great. Jason?
I've been looking a lot into the real-time collaboration, mainly just reading up on things like the Google API and other strategies for real-time collaboration, and then keeping an eye on Steve's work and had some conversations with him about the API.
And Sylvain?
Yes, since last week I was dealing with a lot of Bloomberg internal things, but the PR that I was mentioning last time about the new API for threadlets is open. So I haven't gotten so much feedback on it regarding replicating the API from Atom. So if anyone wants to have a look, please go ahead. Feel free to comment.
Yeah, sorry, I've been meaning to do that, but packing has consumed a lot of my time.
So there is a packaging problem and a packing problem.
Yeah. Yes, a different kind of packaging problem.
So, yeah.
And that's all?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention real quick that I started looking at PyDev and how it works and how we can try to interface with the debugger, and how it would impact things in terms of maybe messaging protocol. And I mean, if anyone is interested in discussing this, I'd be very happy to take this offline and discuss this more thoroughly.
Sylvan, if you want to look into that, I think it's worth pinging Steve Dower and Dino Wieland at Microsoft, because we've had some chats with them about the work they've done on Python tools for Visual Studio, which is open source, about integration with the Visual Studio tools, and they have some preliminary debugger support in that as well. and I know that they're interested in having some of that conversation as well. So it might be, and some of their debugging support is actually really, really impressive. So it might be worth chatting with them. Would you be interested in having that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's more of something that I would do on the side and not really for my employer, like more by myself. Although, look, I mean, I haven't found much documentation on how to build another frontend for PTVSD, while there are at least two frontends to PyDev, so which are PyCharm and Eclipse. Mm-hmm. So there is at least another person who managed to interface it with frontend to PyDev, so which is a good sign. So that's the only reason why I started looking at it and not PTVSD.
Okay. Do you want me to make a contact with Dino and Steve or not? I mean, I'm happy to let you just work on this, but I'm also equally happy to, because I started this conversation in Seattle a while back when I had a chance to talk with them. So.
Sure. Please, you can ping them if you want, and I'd be happy to discuss with them. And maybe there is like more thorough documentation on PTVSD that I'm not aware of.
I will. Min is making a to-do item for me, and I'll take care of it.
Yeah. All right, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you.
You still have Jeff?
Yeah. Hi. So classes start next week, so I've been working on getting the comp models set up going again. Making a few changes this time around. We're going to be using Google OAuth. I'm trying to make the use of Docker a little bit more like how it's supposed to be.
Jess, quick question: is Google OAuth instead of CalNet or?
Instead of CalNet. I saw that, like, Min, you've been talking to some people about doing CalNet stuff.
I've been spending a long time setting up a meeting. And I will actually talk to people on Thursday.
Yeah. So I guess if that is in a state by the time classes start that I could use it, I would happily use it. But if it's not, then I'll just use Google. But that'll be better than using GitHub, because at least students have all the students have Google accounts. So.
Yeah. I would not expect it to be all set.
And then I'm working on some new MBGrader features, like dashboard extensions that will make it easier for students to download assignments and submit assignments.
Cool. Excellent. And is the getting comp models up and running again is going smoothly?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Great. Kyle?
Did you say Kyle? Can you hear me?
I did say Kyle, yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, I wasn't sure if you could hear with these headphones I'm using. Let's see. I assume earlier in the call, maybe people talked about JavaScript?
Yeah, John and Will went earlier, but you can go for it.
Well, I have no idea what's already been said. I mean,
you can just say what you've been doing.
I'm kind of spacey now because I've been sick since Saturday. But the output area is pretty cool, and I'm really happy with it. Yeah, and so I kind of worked alongside with John on that and reviewed stuff. That's really about it.
Cool.
And Damian's been having continued I/O problems with audio, so he added his notes to the bottom of the notes, but unfortunately, I don't think he can give us spoken input.
Yeah, we disconnected from the meeting. We did a test to debug what was going on with his system, and it worked perfectly first off. So, yeah.
I hate this. Why are we making it miserable for him? Is anyone on the call currently on the call on Linux by chance? Is anyone right now using a Linux machine? No. Jesus, we've all dropped Linux.
I have one here at home. I can use it next Tuesday or through the week if somebody wants to.
attempt to use it, being the operative word.
Yeah, there might be something, I don't know how, but I mean, there might be something about starting it with the room system that is different than starting it. Actually, no, we started with your laptop.
I started it with a laptop.
So I don't know how it could be different.
This is just another person in the call.
Yeah.
The room system is just another person in the call. This is the central caller right now.
Anyways, very strange. All right.
Okay, so Damian has been catching up on email threads, has been working on fixes for NB-convert, and is looking into packaging Rise, which is the live JavaScript, basically the slide mode with reveal with live notebooks, live executable cells.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, was that Brian's voice?
That was Kyle.
Oh, Kyle.
Sorry, I just realized I should bring up the NB format JavaScript end. So I dubbed NB format JS very creatively. I slurped in our current schemas and was testing out several different validators and trying to figure out the trade-off between whether we cared more about verbosity or speed. But it's also set up in a way that we could just use the schema if we choose a different validator, like in the front end for a given notebook.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Brian?
Can you hear us? Can you unmute yourself? Did you drive off?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Go.
So I have mostly been doing behind-the-scenes work, sort of administrative, organizational stuff, and then just participating in the various mailing list threads that we have going on right now. I know we have a number of other active threads where we'll need to make decisions fairly soon, but I think let's try to tick those off one at a time. And Fernando, I guess you're looking at the TypeScript one. There's also a thread on, Kyle wanted us to revisit our package naming conventions that we had decided on in a meeting a few weeks ago. There's another thread on our use of typekit. And then there's another thread on making some minor adjustments to how we're doing the refactor in terms of which repos we're working in and how we're merging the code into the current notebook. And so I'm trying to watch those threads and participate in those discussions. Other things, looks like Kyle is going to participate in a BOF at supercomputing this fall in November. Peter Mesmer, who's at NVIDIA, pinged me about that, and I put him in touch with. I put him in touch with. No, we're not just gonna buy something. What do you want? Sorry. What do you want? Hold on one second. Go on. Move on to the next person here for just a second.
Do we have another person? I don't see any other people.
Yeah,
other people can start speaking.
Dave joined right at some point.
Is Joey here?
Oh, Joey was here.
Hello, Brian, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh gosh, there's so many things I've been thinking about, and I think that's about it. Well, actually, there's a lot of, they're not private conversations, but non-mailing list email threads with various people on Spark and IPython Jupyter integration. And it's one of those things where, because this work sits right at the border between two projects, people aren't quite sure where to have these conversations. And so right now they're just groups of people who are emailing each other. I would love it if we could shift those conversations on to the Jupyter list.
Yeah.
Sure. I think part of it is that there are other companies that are really interested in participating in these discussions. And I don't know, it's one of those things that it sits right between Jupyter and Spark. But I think it would be good if we can, at least for now, use the Jupyter list as a place to have these discussions.
Yeah, at least one of them is actually happening on the Spark list. It's just CC'd a bunch of us.
Okay. Well, yeah. No, exactly.
Can you put a link to it somewhere? I'd be interested in reading it.
Yes, if I can figure out which one it is.
You could just write a message to the Jupyter mailing list saying, "Hey guys, there's this conversation going on over here."
I'll do that. I will.
Yeah. But it sounds like there's progress in that space, both in terms of Auberon debugging some of the R kernel stuff, and then also sounds like we may be able to get a pip and conda installable PySpark package, which I think would help with certain parts of the installation of these tools. I think that's all I have for now. And then in the coming week, I'm going to be working on hiring stuff. And I will mute myself again. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Brian. So Dave Wilmer? I don't see
Can you all hear me?
Yep. All right.
Yep. Okay, so last couple of weeks I've been working on the sort of console view, largely prototype stuff, kind of throwaway. Integrated with Chris's prototype list view, just a proof of concept, just to make sure that everything kind of worked. Performance was really, really good. Everything kind of worked. We had all the images and various different parts of the sort of demo data that I think Steve Sylvester put together for one of the other views. Obviously, at the weekend, all of that changed to ES6, so I'm now in the process of just getting all of that boilerplate stuff redone so that it's all compatible with the new output area stuff. So yeah, hopefully next couple of days have all of the new output area stuff working on the prototype list view.
So is this going to use the Jupyter.js output area, I presume?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was using. Yeah. Well, I mean, on Friday that was TS, right, and Saturday it was ES6. So it's just the different boilerplate stuff that's just holding that back right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there it's just going to be iterative improvements to list view and output area as they come. Yeah, if anyone's, I know you guys did loads of work on the output area stuff over the weekend, which is awesome. But if anyone's doing some big changes, it'd be awesome if you could just ping us, let us know, and we can make sure it's all working with our prototype stuff that's largely not in production code.
Great.
Pretty much it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks. And Joey?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can, Joey.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I work with Sylvain and with Jason, and I'm just getting kind of started and grounded into IPython work. So we're trying to do some extensions for our employer. So I just wanted to join the meeting, say hello to everybody.
Oh, great. Well, nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Good to meet you.
If you're in the Bay Area, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, well, it would be good to meet you since you're local, you can come over one day and just meet us in person, at least those of us who are local.
Sure, that would be great.
If you want to meet Thomas and Min, you should probably come soon.
Yes, Min and Thomas are leaving the Bay Area very soon, so if you want to meet a larger version of the group in person, you only have a few days left.
Okay, sure.
All right. Is that everyone? Is there anybody that I can't see who's here? Speak up now.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So there's the Sage Days that's happening that some of the IPython folks are going to be at in November. I was curious if there's plans to do a Sage or IPython Dev Days sometime around then.
So we haven't really had bandwidth to plan that. The Sage Days is really a Sage thing, not so much an IPython thing. It's really William having a Sage Days because he was he has a couple of Sage people coming for Google Summer of Code Mentor Summit, and he needed some space to host a week-long Sage developer meeting here, and I was able to get some space here at Berkeley for him, and kind of reciprocating previous generosity from Sage towards the project, I offered to support a little bit of travel resources for Sage developers from Europe that he couldn't support from some resources that I have, and we can help a little bit with Sage Jupyter integration wherever it makes sense. But it's really a Sage event more than a Jupyter event. Now, we are overdue for planning a Jupyter dev meeting. We absolutely are, but we're overdue for hiring and a bunch of other things right now, and we just haven't had the bandwidth to actually set up a dev meeting. So yes, we do need to plan a dev meeting, but in a sense, the onslaught of resources from all of you guys has been a bonanza of riches that we're trying to absorb, and it's been great. But it means that we haven't had bandwidth to plan a bunch of other stuff.
Are you planning on trying to have a meeting like before the end of the year, or really is everything up in the air?
I honestly literally have a second to plan it. We just hired an administrative assistant here at Berkeley a few days ago. So at least now we have a person who can help with logistics. But this person started working as of last week. This is her first week on the job. And so now we're starting to have the bandwidth and resources to do it. Would I like to do it before the end of the year? Yes. Is it realistic? Not 100% sure, given everybody's schedules. Probably in a couple of weeks, we'll have to make the call on whether we can do that. And with everybody moving out of the country, well, not everybody, but everybody. Well, that's 50% of my local team moving out of the country. That makes things a little bit more complicated right now.
I'd just like to point out the Centroid is now New York, so people are welcome to come here.
And that, honestly, that might make sense. Might make sense. It might make sense. Do you guys have space?
We can work on trying to find something. Yeah, if you're serious about it, we can inquire.
I mean, it might be that it makes more sense to go and do it in New York.
On the hiring situation here, like if new people haven't started yet and it's only you and Matthias on campus.
Yeah, if we have fewer people to fly over and we have, it might make more sense for just a couple of us to go to New York. Because yes, Min is going to be in Norway, Thomas is going to be in the UK. At that point, it might make more sense for a few of us to go to New York and do it there. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it over the next few weeks, Jason. Sure. And if we're serious about it, then we can ask to see if for you logistically it might be possible to get some space.
Sure. Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm really sorry. It just has been. I'm not even going to bore you with the details of the blizzard. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I can't say much yet, but in the next few weeks, I think I will have good news with some light at the end of the tunnel that will be positive for the project, though. So hopefully things will get better.
Great. Any last words? Anybody forget anything?
Speak now or
for a week, or just. Right on the internet in all our other communication channels. Okay. I think that's that for this week. Thanks, everybody.
All right, folks. Thank you. See you later.
Ciao, everyone.